Okay. So after some technical difficulties, um, we are finally live for our first stream. Uh, so just to introduce ourselves, I'm Eve,
And I am Jay. Nice to meet you all.
and so we're launching the stream to talk about play to earn games. Right now, we're playing Fate Origin specifically. At some point in the future, we hope to talk about cryptocurrencies. Not just JoJo, which is Fate Origins currency right now, but other hot topics as well. And then also to give a little bit of a disclosure, Jay has something.
Yeah, so full disclosure, I am part of the Fate Origin team. So just in case there are any conflict of interest, so you know where I stand on that. So yeah, right, so I think we're ready to jump in.
Yeah, let's do it.
All
So,
right.
Fate Origin was released for open beta in the end of December. It's an MMO play to earn game on the JoJo platform. And just to give anyone who's interested in playing for the first time a little bit of information, you do need at least one Fate Origin NFT in order to start playing the game. So this is an example of Fate Origin specific NFTs. You do want to make sure it is Fate Origin because JoJo, the platform, they have various NFTs and other games as well.
Yeah.
So when you are looking through NFTs, you want to make sure that you select Fate Origin. And as you can see when they pop up, there's various different kinds. They have, mounts, they have pets, there's costumes, there's all kinds of stuff, and you can filter it however you like. So we just wanted to give you a little bit of a view as to what those are, and we'll go ahead and talk about the topic for today.
All right. So our first topic, is going to be what makes Fate Origin special.
Mhm.
And okay, this might sound like a really cheesy topic, right? But I think it's essential, to talk about because of the overall state of play to earn, right now. And so this might sound, counterintuitive, right? But if you look into the entire play to earn ecosystem right now, you'll find that a lot of games are not enjoyable or fun to play. And okay, that might
Mhm.
sound weird, right? Because when you're thinking, okay, a game that should be fun, right? There should be excitement, right? You should feel all of that, right? But it feels like within our play to earn space right now, a lot of games, focus on the economy or on the finance aspect, right? On staking, on the crypto token, right? Behind the game, right? But you'll find a lot of times, right? The game itself is not fun, right? The game is not interesting or it's not enjoyable to play because there is a lot of lack of content and a lot of things are just promises of something that will come, right? Something that will come,
Right.
right? So yeah, and I think the focus, right, should be on the game itself, and the earning aspect should come, secondary. What do you think about that, Eve?
I think that's a really important point because, for me, I've played various MMOs over the years, and um this game is so addicting just in itself, and the fact that
Mhm.
it's also a crypto game means I am playing it all the time. I mean,
Mhm.
we make it a point to be online in this game probably about 24 hours a day,
Mhm. Yeah.
and we're sitting over here like notifying each other, hey, you're offline, because we want to make sure that we're grinding as much as possible. We're, getting the highest level we can,
Mhm.
um, all kinds of stuff like that. And I think it's important to note that this is an MMO game, and MMOs are constantly evolving. They always have a direction that they're going in, and there's a huge grindability to this game, and achievements and all kinds of possibility, and I think you don't see that in other crypto games.
Yeah, and that's absolutely true, right? Because in a lot of cases, right, if you look into our crypto space right now, a lot of games are not fun, right? Because there is not a lot of content, right? And as I was saying earlier, we play Fate Origin for the fun, right? And
Mhm.
we'll still play it, even if it's not, if, I'll still play Fate Origin, even if I won't earn a penny from it, right? And I think that's where, the focus should be when it comes to play to earn. Earning should be secondary, right? Because I mean, there's no point if people don't enjoy the game itself, right? There's no point, right? Because okay, let's look at our space. Last year, play to earn and NFT gaming, there was like a huge boom, right? And then it was followed by a crash, right? So you had a lot of games that came about, right? And a lot of people started playing them because they're earning, some money, right? Considerable amount of money, or depending on the game, right? But then we are currently in a bear market of sort. We've had a crash, right? So let's say if you're not enjoying the game anymore, right? It means okay, you'll probably quit, right? Because you're no longer earning, anything, from the game, right? But if the
Right.
game is fun and you're gonna play the game regardless, okay, then you'll just continue, right? And let's say, whenever the market turns around, then you'll still continue earning, really well. And in the meantime, you'll have spent a lot of time grinding, raising your level, and I think that's exactly what, play to earn should be. And Fate Origin, is one of the first few games I have seen, to have successfully captured, the essence of play to earn.
Yeah, definitely. And even just the essence of a game in general and what it should be. It's fun, it's addicting, it's updated all the time. There's always new things, and there's a lot of promise. You can definitely tell. And so I think, like you said, even if we weren't making money in this game, which I mean, currently probably no one is,
Mhm.
um, and that's just the way things are. But, I'd be playing this game still
Mhm.
as much as I am now because it's fun. And, and that's what a game should be. It should be fun.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, and just to touch on, the earning aspect. So yeah, you can earn, in Fate, right now. So I mean, there's some earning mechanisms, and from our dungeon, Eve, can you show the? I can never remember the acronym for the dungeon. The W.
WFMD.
FMD dungeons, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can earn, Jojo, from completing those dungeons, and so that's one way to earn, in the game. But as we were mentioning earlier, right, because the entire market, is has crashed, essentially, and
Mhm.
Jojo right now is down, 70% from its all-time high. Like, if you look at any other play to earn, token right now, or even Axie Infinity or any of them, right, you'll see, okay, it's not just, a singular case, right? It's just across the entire market, right? But you know, so it means okay, you're earning, not a whole lot right now, right? But you can keep playing, right? Because you're having fun, and also recently, the team has added a way to earn, in the game from your CP, basically your combat power, right? Depending on how high your CP is, the amount of time or investment you put into the game, you also, earning, from that. So, and I guess that's what, one of the biggest point we wanted to touch on about what makes Fate Origin, special, right? It is fun, it is addicting to play, and that is what a game should be, centrally, basically.
Yeah, that's why it's going to be big someday. Or at least that's why I believe it's going to be big someday
Oh
because
yeah,
it's fun
it
and
is, and
everyone wants to play something fun. Sorry to interrupt.
no, no, you're not, and absolutely, and I agree with you, on that. If I mean, if a game's not fun, there's no point in playing it, right? So, and it feels like that's something a lot of people, right, that are launching all these, play to earn projects, that's something they don't understand, right? To
Mhm.
bring gamers to the space, you have to give them a product, right, that is fun and enjoyable to play, right? So, yeah, I mean, it sounds almost, I mean, it's counterintuitive, but that's what it should be, basically. But yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think one of the great things about this game too, I mean there's several, but to go into one of the great things about this game, not only do they have NFTs, but they do also have non-NFTs. And I'll show those here in the mall.
Yeah.
So with the JoJo currency, you can buy tons of things in the actual game. Not just NFTs and stuff. you can see all of them here. They have a wide range of stuff, but you can also buy things with another in-game currency, which is diamonds. And so they have, several options for you to be able to obtain different kinds of items. Another form is by honor, which you can obtain by doing PK during the day. You can use your honor points to buy things, and this resets daily. So that's awesome. You can start to hoard stuff like I do. And
Mhm.
then there's also the boss shop, which this currency you obtain by killing world bosses. And this resets weekly. So, it looks great, but you're like, oh, wait, I can only get this 10 times a week.
Mhm.
So, and that's one of the great things about it. And that's another reason that you can tell that they definitely put a lot of thought into this, into what each item does. They're constantly updating this too, because just like I think in the update before last in the diamond shop, they added these mecha gear um,
Yeah.
combination things,
Yep.
and and that was something too. For example, I think probably
Yeah.
about a
And
month ago they had
mhm.
sorry they had put something else in the shop that everyone was very against, and they like immediately took it out. And so that's another way that you can tell that they listen to the community. They're
Mhm.
very thoughtful in what goes in. And, when the community speaks up about something, they
Yeah.
quickly take care of it.
Yeah. And before I touch on, the community or the team aspect, I'll
Hmm.
quickly like to kind of piggyback on what Eve said, right, about the shop items. I know, okay, within the gaming community, right, there's that always that big argument about, uh, pay to win, right? Because you're buying in shop items, right? And you can use
Right.
them to give yourself an advantage, or some of them are just, cosmetic, right? But I think, having a shop item, gives the game the opportunity to keep growing, right? Because the developers, have many other streams, of revenue, right? So it's not just, NFTs, right? They don't just make money from NFTs, but they also make money from players buying in-shop items, right? And having that, makes you feel like, okay, like a traditional game, right? It makes you feel like, oh, this is not even a play to earn, right? Because you just feel right at home, right? But
Yeah.
because that's something that is, currently missing, right? From a lot of uh, play to earn games, right? And I get granted, it's still the entire ecosystem movement, is still new, right? So it's gonna take a lot of time, for games to have all these contents, right? But that's why we're trying to say that Fate Origin is special, right? Because a lot of the things that other projects are promising, okay, this is gonna come soon, we're gonna have these ready, right? All these are already in Fate Origin, right? So it kind of speaks, to the talent of the team, and the quality of the work, and yeah, that is put in. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And just to kind of ask you something that I'm sure some others have, wondered. I believe I actually asked you this at one point too. How exactly do developers make money through in-game items?
So, if you take your traditional game, right, as an example, right? So when you're buying, let's say you have an item in the shop, right? You spend, $10, right, on the
Hmm.
item. Okay, when you spend that kind of money, right? Okay, that money goes to the developers, right? Or it could be the studio, or the company that owns the game, right? So because they get that money, it also helps our development, right? So they can improve the game, right? And again, I was saying earlier, I know a lot of people don't like the pay to win, right? Aspect of
Right.
games, but I think to me, I like that because it means, okay, the developers can keep making money. And if you take our Web3 system right now, in a lot of ways, a lot of developers only make money when NFTs are sold, right? Maybe they make money on royalties, or something else, right? But when you have all these non NFT items in the shop, right? And so let's say you're spending JoJo, right? To buy those items, okay, it means, okay, that money is going to the developer's wallet, right? So okay, and they can use that money in return to improve the game and improve, the community. So it's basically funds, that can be reinvested, the into bettering, the game, essentially. And and let's quickly segue into the in-game economy, right? Since we're talking about items, as well.
Yeah, so here is, for example, our marketplace. And this is where you can sell a lot of the items that Jay was talking about. And these are all sold with JoJo. But the great thing about this is that most of these items are drops, or they're items that you've obtained through quests or daily logins, things like that. And, I do want to say that there are items in the game that are locked. You can't sell them.
Mhm.
But the ones that you do, you can grind for items like this. As you can see, we've got people who put lower level tiered items, higher level tiered. And, that's great that you can make JoJo in the game by just farming items and selling them on the marketplace. As you can see, there's all kinds of stuff, and some of them aren't even available right now that they're planning, to be available. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of opportunity here.
Mhm. And and I believe this is something that is currently missing from a lot of play to earn games. So yeah, in many ways they do have an in-game economy, right, where you can sell NFTs, to other players, right? So you can trade NFTs, you can buy your NFTs, right, and which is really good, and you see that in a lot of play to earns. But what you
Mhm.
don't see is this kind of item, economy that you have, right? So I mean, this dungeon, right? The boss dungeon you have just completed, right? Okay, we all got some items from it, right? So if you want it, right, you could put those items, in the shop, right? To sell that to other players. So these are non-NFT items that you can sell, right? So because some of those items are really great, it means okay, another player can get those items, and use them, right? And it reminds me of some of the games I used to play. So Destiny 2 is my favorite game of all time, right? And you can spend a lot of time playing the game, acquiring a lot of items, but in many ways, maybe you can sell those items to other players for their in-game, currency, but the difference is that you cannot sell it for real cash. Of course, some players will find ways around it. Let's say if you go on eBay, right? Back in the day, you'll see players kind of selling those in-game items on eBay, right? To make actual
Wow.
money, right? And a lot of the games themselves are against that practice, right? But this is native, to play to earn, and especially to Fate Origin, right? Because a lot of games in our space don't have this yet, right? So you can sell NFTs, right? But there's no option to sell your items. So yeah, I think that's something really cool, and that's something else that makes Fate Origin, really special. So yeah, in that sense.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on that a little bit. Um, it- the fact that this is an MMO, and it is a very competitive, game already, like Jay was talking about. There's PvP, there's PvE, there's all kinds of stuff going on, and the one of the main aspects of the game is raising your CP, right? And so that's you can obtain that by various ways. That's, starting off with higher ranked NFTs, or, grinding your levels, or, raising your gear, combining stuff. There's so many different ways to raise your CP. And I think that's great because not only does it give you the option to pay to play, but you
Mm.
also have the option to kind of grind to play. And
Yeah.
so it favors both sides where, I know that I've played a game, for example, for several years. It was an MMO that started off pay to play, and then it became free to play. And, it drastically changed things, I'll say. But it was nice that they tried to cater to different kinds of players. And I will say it did ruin the game by them making the whole game pay to play and then free to play. But with a game like this, where you have both options actually inside the game, it's
Mhm.
not just like the core mechanic of the game. It
Yeah.
makes a huge difference, and it can make various players happy because they have the option. You don't have to pay a bunch, but you can.
Yeah, and and that's a really good point, that you bring up, right? Because in a lot of play to earns, right now, your investment, will determine, your success in the game or your return, right? Because okay, if you invest a lot of money, it means okay, you'll definitely make more, and that's okay, right? That's how it should be, right? But I think Fate offers, time because people usually say time is money, right? And the good thing about Fate is that the amount of time you invest in the game, you also get considerable returns from that, right? Because right now, okay, recently they've expanded, what's called the time rift, dungeon, right? So time rift dungeon, is one of those activities in Fate that give you a lot of CP, right? So if you complete it, daily a lot, you get a lot of CP. Basically you're becoming more competitive, right? In the game by completing, that dungeon, right? And the good thing about that is that okay, maybe you have, someone who spends a lot of money, right? And getting a lot of those items, and becoming really strong, right? By spending that kind of money, right? But let's say if you're someone who doesn't have that kind of money with you, right? But you have the time, right? Basically, you're investing your time to be competitive, right? So you just, of course, you can. Money is good, right? Money is good for the game. Money is good, to be successful, right? But the time you invest, also gives you great return, basically. Yeah. Good. All right. So I think Eve, you're playing the PK session right now. Is that correct?
Yes, I am. And I wanted to touch on that a little bit that, it's PvP in this game has definitely, like we're talking about with Time Rift, that has PvP in it. A lot of the modes in this game have PvP.
Mm.
And, you were talking a little bit earlier about how it can be it can be rough for some players. And
Yeah.
I'll definitely say it's not for everyone, just like I'm sure the the other crypto game that is specifically PvP is probably not for everyone. Um, but it's learning PvP in this kind of game and the fact that you don't have to do PvP. I feel like that's really important to point out.
Hmm.
Um, and with the game being in its kind of infancy stage, there's really not a whole lot of angry PvP going on.
Yeah.
And, you see that a lot in games where there's PKing, which is player killing. There's people AFK killing. There's, all kinds of stuff. And I definitely think at some point this game will get there. I think it's
Hmm.
just inevitable when you have a game like this that kind of makes it a point to have PvP. Um, but I think that it's good for this kind of game because it brings the challenge, and
Hmm.
with it being an MMO and they have, quests, they have achievements, they have all kinds of stuff that really pushes you to want to reach the top, which, obviously keeps the game addicting. The PvP is really important in that aspect, and it will bring out those players that are kind of die hard to get to the
Yeah.
top, kind of like us.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it's great for the game. And um, PK, which is this is right here. This is specifically player versus player. You can rank up, and recently they added more rewards to it. And so that's another area kind of where they're constantly improving stuff and they're listening to the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And I say right, PvP, is good. I mean, we love PvP, right?
Hmm.
Not everybody does, So if you just want to go ahead and play the game, just for just to do PvE activities, yeah, there's a ton of content, right? And
Yeah.
it goes back to what makes Fate Origin special, right? The amount of content, right? There's a ton of content, right? And I don't know if you can see Eve's, tag, you see, okay, that she's married in the game, right? We're married in the game, right? Because you can be married, you can have babies in the game, which is,
Yeah,
really,
that's
which is, I mean, you'll see that in a lot of MMOs, which is good, right? It goes to show there's a lot of content, a lot of activities, that you have available, at your disposal in the game. So you won't get bored. There's always something you can do, right? And so I just want to touch on that really quickly. And back to PvP, and PK in general, right? And I can tell, the competitive spirit is definitely, increasing, right? Because
Hmm.
more and more players are joining the game, right? So it means, okay, competition is just going to be there, as a byproduct of the population just increasing, right? So yeah, that's just going to happen, and yeah, and I think that's good, for the game, from many different perspectives, right? And so talking about PK, right? And let's talk about the team as well, right? Because one thing you notice in Fate Origin is you don't have a lot of bugs. And okay, this might sound weird, to say, but a lot of play to earn games nowadays they're just riddled with bugs, right? There's a lot of bugs, so and sometimes it feels almost normal, right? And again, it's understandable. A lot of them are new, and a lot of the team, are also learning, how to navigate between Web 2 and Web 3, and it can be daunting, it can be hard, right, on developers, right, but
Yeah.
Fate has successfully, captured that. I'm not saying there aren't bugs, but a lot of them are like really minor, right? You're not gonna see a really major bug, in the game, and usually, they tend to get resolved also fairly quickly. So yeah, I think it speaks, to the caliber of the developers and the team, and also the quality, right? They're trying to present, right? So it's not just to give you a product, for them to make money, off of you, right? But to also give you a good product, basically. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I I was doing a PK and I was
Mhm.
fighting someone who was 10 million higher than me and I
Oh
actually
yeah,
beat them. So
nice.
I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, back to what you were saying that,
Mhm.
that's a great point too. And I think that, we kind of touched on that a little bit earlier too, is that taking care of bugs, especially as they come up, and huge bugs or important bugs that keep players kind of maybe a little hesitant to play the game, or it might interfere with the playability of the game.
Yeah.
It's important for the team to be on top of that as soon as possible, and that's definitely something that we've noticed with this Fate Origin team, is that as soon as we kind of notify them of, hey guys, we noticed this, in the next like couple of patches it's taken care of.
Yeah.
And especially if there's an outcry from the community of an update recently, they take care of it so quickly that it's almost it's almost a little unnerving because it's
Mhm.
like, where's the catch in this? I mentioned a little bit earlier that I've played several MMOs, and I've had the experience where I've played an MMO for years, and the fact that it was deteriorating, I could clearly see there's going to be a day where I'm no longer going to play this game because of the team. And then that day fatefully comes, and it feels like I just wasted years because this team is no longer interested in taking care of their game. They're not listening to their community. And, that sucks. And that's something that a lot of players deal with, especially when it comes to MMOs. And so the fact that there's this amazing team, they're so responsive, they're so friendly, they're quick to take care of any bugs that come up and listen to suggestions. That's amazing to me, and I really hope that that continues to foster, and that they continue to grow into such a responsive and kind team.
Yeah, and I mean, the success, of any project, is determined by the people behind it, right? So if you
Hmm.
have a good team, that is leading a project, then there is definitely higher chances, of success, right? And that's something we don't really see right now in our play to earn ecosystem, especially a team that focuses on the game and the product itself, right? Because you have a lot of focus, on the token, on the financial aspect of the game, right? But usually, a lot of bugs, are in the game. So you can tell that the focus is not quality, right? So it's not to give,
Hmm.
the community or the player, right, a really good product, right, they can enjoy. So usually the quality is second, right? There's no focus, oh, we had to fix, this bug, right? The community has been crying about this, for months and months, right? But that issue is still there, right? But and I think that's what makes Fate Origin special and kind of sets it apart, from a lot of play to earns, in our space, is that okay? they listen to the community, right? When there's a bug, they focus on resolving it, right? And something I like that the focus is on the product, right? Product first, let's make sure the game is fun, it's enjoyable, good for the players, and then the rest is just secondary, right? So yeah, I think I really admire that, and as you said, I hope it continues, and we stay on the same course as well.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. But and I think that a lot of um there's a lot of proof in that being a possibility, and I think that's one of the reasons that, we even feel so secure about this game and its future is because of how the Fate team responds and takes care of things. And that's not to say that there isn't things they could improve upon still. We've definitely noticed things that for example, they definitely could do more with their like for example for me, the achievement aspect of the game could definitely have some improvements because that for me that is a huge part of why I play an MMO is I want to accomplish everything. I want to get the highest reward. I want to be able to say that I did this before everyone else did. That's something that drives me specifically in the game. And I'll show you, for example, the achievement section right now. It's kind of lackluster, I would say.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of the rewards are really just some diamonds, some gold, possibly a title. But, by the time anyone has reached that title, not long after, everyone has reached that title. And I think that there's no uniqueness in that. There's no like
Mhm.
drive to be the first person or anything because it's not something that no one else has. And I think that's something they definitely need to improve upon.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree. And as you mentioned, and I guess we could chalk it down to okay, this is still a new game, still in
Yeah.
open beta, So I'm sure that will improve with time. I guess based on everything we've seen, right, based on the focus on the quality of the product itself. So I'm really hopeful that that will definitely improve, with time. And I guess one of the thing, and I guess we touched on this a little bit earlier, is the fact that okay, right now in Fate Origin, the earning is not great, right? You're not, I mean,
Mhm.
if you're joining Fate Origin, you make a ton of money, or let's say you tried Axie Infinity last year and you were making, hundreds of dollars a day. You're not going to make that in Fate Origin, right? So, but I'm not going
Right.
to say, that's something against the team, right? But it's just the market right now, right? So it's just the state of the market right now because the token JoJo has, is down 70%, and like many other tokens, right now in our space, right? So, but hopefully, that will go up, in the upcoming months, we're just hopeful, right? But I just wanted to bring that out there, right? Because I know there are some people out there that will join the game because okay they want to make a ton of money and realize oh okay the money is not there right now, right? But
Yeah.
so I think we're trying to target gamers, right? And which is something odd to say but something missing in our play to earn space right now because a lot of games are not designed for gamers, right? They're not designed for actual real gamers, right? But I understand that in our GameFi in play to earn it's a mix of games and finance, right? You kind of it's a marriage of both, right? But you notice that the gaming aspect itself is really really missing, and I really really hope that we get into that trend, and I'm actually glad Fate Origin is on that path, right? The game first, and then the rest will just come with time, basically.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mention what you said about gamers because, I don't know if anyone hasn't noticed, our guild is actually called Gamers, and
Hmm.
Jay is the one who created that. So if you want to talk a little bit about why you chose to name it Gamers.
Yeah, and I touched on that a little bit earlier
Hmm.
because as I was saying, right, a lot of people. So The weird thing about Play to Earn right now is you have a product, that is not designed for gamers, right? Basically the
Yeah.
product is called a game, but it's not designed for gamers, right? So and you end up with a lot of people that are playing games that are not gamers. I mean, of course, there's a gamer in all of us, right? You want to bring as many
Yeah.
people into the space as possible, but the challenge is that the product is not designed, for gamers, but we invite them, into the space, right? So people join, play to earn to make a lot of money, and which ends up, getting them disappointed, right? So we're trying to bring back, play to earn to its roots, or what I believe, it should be about. It should be about the game, right? You're spending a lot of time playing the game because you love it, you have fun, you enjoy, right? And then you're also earning, right? Your passive income, which is great, right? So that's why our guild, is called Gamers, because we're all about the game, right? We're all about the fun, and play the game. We're all about all the grinding, the dungeons, and also the guild wars, right? And I believe at some point we're definitely gonna stream, some of the guild wars, in Fate Origin. So yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
look forward to that. So, yeah,
Yeah, and they
absolutely.
just recently added actually another day that
Mhm.
we're going to be doing Guild Wars too.
Yeah, and I think it used to be just on Sundays, right? But now
Yeah,
it's also gonna be what day is it?
Thursday.
Thursdays. Okay, yeah, that's correct. So yeah, you can play Guild Wars. Basically it's a PvP event, and I can definitely see that. Even becoming like some kind of esport. In the future, based on the way it is designed. So yeah, I really really look forward to that as well.
That would be very interesting, but
Mhm.
that would be nice. And I love personally, I love Guild Wars. I've had them a lot in various games that I've played, and I'd say it's one of those kinds of events that it really brings people together and not always in the best way because there's a lot
Mhm.
of, competitiveness, which is good. And it's fun to be able to play against other guilds. And I'd say right now, um it's not entirely active because we're still in the beginning phase of this game and there's
Mhm.
not a ton of players, but at some point it's going to get even more competitive, and that's going to be a lot of fun because
Mhm.
everyone is going to be vying for the top 4, top 8 spots of the Guild War.
Mhm. Yeah.
I can't
So
remember what it's
let
called.
Yeah, let's do some shameless plug. Can you show our guild page? So yeah, so our guild name is Gamers. So if you
Mhm.
play Fate Origin right now, go ahead and join us. I think right now we're ranked number 7, number 8. Okay, number
6.
6. Oh, okay, nice. I thought we were 7, but looks like yeah, we're ranked number 6 in the game. So yeah, and we're looking for players. If you're
Yay.
active, enjoy the game. Yeah, go ahead and join Gamers. Because we're all about the game. So yeah, I think that end of my shameless plug.
Actually, I'm going to join in on that shameless plug. I will say that,
Mhm.
when you start a game or an MMO game, you always want to join a guild that is active, that is helpful, that is responsive. And I definitely say that our guild is all of those things. And, especially we intend to with our, this YouTube channel, we want to put out some guides. And so, we do our best to help people and to be there to answer questions, to give help. We're always around, like I said, we're on like as often
Mhm.
as possible during the day. So
Yeah.
I'll end my shameless plug there.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for the plug. So we'll
Yeah.
take it. All right. So yeah, I think yeah, that kind of brings us, near the end of our of our stream. So I'm just gonna
Mhm.
quickly recap, right? Why we think Fate Origin is special, right? Because it caters to gamers, right? Simply put, right? This is a game actually designed, to be played and enjoyed by gamers, right? It is fun. It has a lot of content. It is addicting. You have the quality, right? Quality is there, right? Because you can
Yes.
tell a lot of thought, a lot of focus, a lot of hard work, is put into this NFT game, right? Something you don't see in a lot of in our space right now, right? So and that's really good. And also you have shop items, right? You have a very good, well designed in-game economy. So you can trade, make money from NFTs, but you can also sell, your items, right? The items, you get from killing bosses, the items you collect from dungeons. You can sell those to other players and also, make money that way, right? And then, last, the team behind the product, right? The team behind the
Yeah.
game. You can tell it's a team that really focuses on making sure, okay, the product is good, the quality again goes back to quality, something we still don't see in our space. The quality is there, and the community is listened to, right? So whatever the community says, suggest, they're always heard, and those changes are implemented because the project, is about the community, and if the for the project to be successful, we need the
Mhm.
community behind the project, basically. So yeah, do you have anything to add to that, Eve?
Yeah, I just want to say too that if you're someone who's on the fence about playing the game or joining the community, I just want to point out that this is with the game being still kind of new, you're really in the shaping phase of this game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually pretty special to be a part of, to be able to make suggestions for, the direction that the game goes in and the team goes in. And so if you're on the fence or you're thinking about it, I would say do it. This is like a great time to jump in and start playing the game and, again, join gamers. So
Sounds good. Yeah, I think that kind of brings us, to the end of our first stream. Yeah, I think we did
yeah.
pretty good. What do you think, Eve? We did pretty well, right, for our
Well,
first time, All right.
yeah,
So
obviously. Mm,
yeah, sounds good. But yeah,
shameless
so yeah,
plug.
but yeah, so yeah, I mean, we'll have the link to our Discord,
Hmm.
Telegram, and also to Jojo in the descriptions, so and also our Twitter page. So and
Yes.
as Eve, mentioned earlier, we're gonna be putting out a lot of content. We're gonna be doing another stream. We're gonna be streaming, weekly and just talking about various topics, right? Regarding Faith Origin, crypto in general as well. So yeah, just keep an eye out. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to follow us on social media. You'll have our links in the description. And so yeah, Eve, you want to take us home?
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining us. I know this was kind of we had a little bit of a mess in the beginning, but it's been a lot of fun. And, we continue to, we're looking forward to growing and to meeting people and doing our best to help and everything. So make sure to, subscribe, like Jay said, follow our Twitter. We are going to also be putting out a video soon as well. So definitely look out for that. And thank you guys so much for joining us, listening in. And if you're listening later, thank you for that as well. Make sure to subscribe, and we hope you guys have a great rest of your day.
Until next time. Bye.
Yep. Bye.